This is a player to keep an eye on down the stretch here for Penn State men's basketball. Yanik Neer Houser, 7 foot plus. He can do a variety of things. The misconception about Neer Houser is that he is going to be just a big body. He'll get rebounds because of how tall he is, but he can only do so much, right? He is Penn State's version of Zach Edey. To an extent, he has a lot more versatility in his game than a Zach Edey. I'm not here to argue that Niederhauser is better than Zach Edey, but the comparisons are there in terms of what Niederhauser can do for Penn State. He had 22 minutes tonight against Binghamton. This is a guy who can shoot. He has a mid-range shot. He can shoot the three if they need him to. They don't need him to, but they can. He's an excellent passer. He can distribute the ball when they need him to. The offense, he has point guard abilities as a center, and he went to the foul line a number of times, was 8 of 12 from the free throw line, but had 12 attempts at the free throw line, in addition to contributing 16 points. So this was someone that transferred over from Northern Illinois, if I'm not mistaken, and averaged about 7 points or so at a Group 5 school, at a mid-major school, and he's putting up 16 points for Penn State in the season opener. He starts here. I like the way the starting lineup looks. It offers you a lot when you can have DeMarco Dunn, one of your fifth-year veterans, come off the bench, in addition to Nick Kern, who is your 1B to Ace Baldwin as as one of your best defensive players on the team. So the fact that those guys are your 6th and 7th guys off of the bench is really telling about this lineup. I thought Freddie DeLeon would be someone to come off the bench, but no, he started. He logged 23 minutes. He gave Penn State 10 points against Binghamton. That 1-2 punch of Ace Baldwin Jr., or whether it's DeMarco Dunn, Freddie DeLeon, Nick Kern Jr., good luck if you're opposing teams. And I haven't really said this. I've said it in the past, but I haven't said it enough here, as we are going to talk about Penn State men's basketball throughout the season. So you can expect more of these live recap episodes game after game. I don't care if it's against Binghamton. I don't care if it's against Michigan or Ohio State down the stretch. We will have live recaps for these games, as you can see here. But Penn State does have a deep bench. They are going to go with 7, 8 guys routinely. This isn't just subjective to Binghamton when you're up, when you win by over 40 points. Okay, that's understandable. You get the freshmen in the game, you get them some experience, or some guys that are maybe like a Freddie DeLeon, who's a redshirt sophomore, but he's starting. So that's a different case there. But guys that still need the experience and could use it, they didn't just get players into the game just to get them into the game. No, they logged valuable minutes. I mean, this is going to be your routine starting lineup for the most part of the season, or the lineup in general. Ace Baldwin, Freddie DeLeon, Puff Johnson, Yanik Neer Houser, Zach Hicks, and then you had Javin Carter come off the bench as a true freshman, and Carter gave Penn State 17 minutes. He only scored 4 points, but what I thought was interesting was his shot selection. He shot the ball 9 times, and 5 of them were from three-point range. Cold night for Carter. They didn't need him to score, but the fact that they said, hey, Carter, you're going to be one of our scoring threats. Miles Goodman didn't come into this game, and I know he was dealing with an injury in the offseason, but he looks to be ready. He was the kind of the prized recruit of this recruiting class for this upcoming season here. And Javin Carter is one of the first guys that they go with here. Dominic Stewart also got into the game as well, but I think that was more of, we're trying to get him some experience here with 9 minutes. DeMarco Dunn, Nick Kern Jr. coming off of the bench. Kachi Enze as well coming off of the bench for 11 minutes. He can be a role player, offer some defense too. He's not going to be an efficient scorer, if you will, even though he had 6 points. But defensively, he is going to be very valuable for this Penn State team. Over 100 points for Mike Rhodes' team that traditionally would opt to score 60 points in the past. But look at how he's just willing to adapt to the landscape. This isn't the A-10 anymore. This is the Big Ten. This is a new look Big Ten. You now have to deal with Oregon and Washington and USC and UCLA. They play a different style of basketball. And then you have Michigan that makes the change at head coach. Purdue doesn't have Zach Edey anymore. This is a new landscape for the Big Ten. And I think Penn State is poised for it. Penn State is poised to make a run in the Big Ten this season. They are. Do I think they win the Big Ten championship? Big Ten tournament or the Big Ten conference outright, being the regular season or the postseason champs? No, because I think it's difficult. I think the Big Ten is really deep. You could expect, as always, expect close to maybe 10. And do think that Penn State will, not can be, will be one of them. This is a senior group. This is a quality senior group led by Ace Baldwin Jr., but you upgraded all of those quote unquote role players from a season ago. You upgraded them to now be significant key contributors. Freddie DeLeon isn't a role player. He is now a starter in the backcourt for Penn State. Yanik Neer Houser is an upgrade. Kudus Wahab gave Penn State so much in terms of cleaning up the glass, but he was someone that, we don't know how much he's going to be able to play 25 to 30 minutes. You can get that from Neer Houser. He offers so much, and they can run with him. Somebody that's 7 foot plus, and Penn State scored. And when you play a big man like a Zach Edey, typically your numbers are going to be a little lower because you're going to play ball control, you're going to maximize that shot clock, and you're going to work the ball around the perimeter, some good passes to set up the offense. Niederhauser can run. He can go quick with this team. Penn State is going to go quick all season, so don't look at this box score and say, well, Zach, it's just Binghamton. Anybody can score over 100 against Binghamton. No, this is the new look Penn State. This is the new look Penn State that is going to try. It is Binghamton, so Penn State is not going to routinely score over 100 points, but the goal is, and Joe Christman had told this to the broadcast team listening to Steve Jones on the broadcast, and he told the broadcast team that, and Dick Girardi, I was blanking on the name, his color commentator, Steve Jones and Dick Girardi, Joe Christman said, our goal is to score over 100 points tonight. Well, they certainly did that. They certainly did that. This is the new look Penn State men's basketball team. This is a March Madness contender. This is a team that is poised to get to the NCAA tournament, and who knows, I'm not going to sit here and say that, hey, they make the Elite Eight, they make the Final Four, and then who knows what. But no, this team can make the NCAA tournament and maybe the second round if things go well for them. They have the depth to do it, and they certainly have the talent to do it. Thank you for the comments here on the live show. If you have any final thoughts, we're going to wrap it up here because it is Binghamton. There's only so much to analyze here. But thank you, Jay Wine. Yanik was very impressive today, as he should be, or as he would be, because I did not come in with the loftiest expectations for Yanik because, again, coming from a smaller, mid-major type of school, but you started to hear the coaches they would always speak very positive, and they're not going to speak negatively about him, but it was like, wow, he has an all-around game. They say he has point guard abilities. Niederhauser is as versatile as it gets. He is not just a big man. He can shoot the three-pointer if they need him to. They're not going to need him to because they want him down to clean up the glass. But Penn State has a little bit of everything here and then some. You have three-point shooting with Zach Hicks, and now Ace Baldwin. Ace Baldwin was not a three-point shooter, and now he is. He has worked on that shot all offseason. You can also get it from Freddie DeLeon, even though it wasn't his night. DeMarco Dunn can do it, and then you have the defense. DeLeon can cover all 94 feet. Baldwin can cover all 94 feet. You might have one of the better in not only the Big Ten, maybe even the country, with the three guards that Penn State has, with Baldwin, DeLeon, and Kern in terms of overall defensive ability. Like that is an insanely talented defensive trio in the backcourt. Do not get it twisted. I am not just saying that because I am the Penn State podcast host. I genuinely mean that when I look at their defensive ability. Ace Baldwin was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year last year. That is not an overstatement to say that those three together would be the best backcourt trio that are available to Penn State, not only the Big Ten, but maybe even the country. Looking for some final comments. If you have any thoughts, please contribute them here. But Penn State does in fact win 108-66 over Binghamton. Very impressive, very uncharacteristic of typical Mike Rhoades teams, but that shows who Mike Rhoades is as a coach. Mike Rhoades is willing to adapt his system, put things that worked in the past to the side, and adapt to now what works better. And Joe Christman has a lot of influence in this offense as well. Joe Christman teams, when he was coaching at the Division III, he was a head coach at Division III, for those who didn't know, him joining this Penn State staff as an assistant. And those teams would routinely just light up the scoreboard. They would score point after point after point, and he's bringing that philosophy back to Penn State now as a former player and now a coach. Penn State plays again Friday, November 8th against UMBC, and that is a tip-off set for 6 p.m. Eastern Time in the Bryce Jordan Center. I expect more of the same. I think Penn State will score maybe not 100 points, but certainly over 80. They will light up the scoreboard once again against another team that they should win against convincingly. That's going to do it for this live recap of Penn State versus Binghamton. My name is Zach Seyko. The men's basketball team starts 1-0 in the season, and it looks to be a very promising 2024-25 campaign for the Nittany Lions.